taking part in this whole political system. And I know that, and I hear you, Shango. It's like, yeah, but I mean, and you gotta do this, and it's like, yeah, but maybe you don't. Maybe you don't, because the thing about it is, it's like all of the things that's wrong and all of the things that we need have actually been fixed. Like, we got the dude Moses West, who got clean water for everybody. Like, instead of liquor stores on every corner, those machines could be on every corner. We could have fucking clean water. We got a situation where it ain't even just one person making these free energy devices for things to run free on electronics. Like, we got tons of people. You got the dude in Africa, Zimbabwe, Maxwell Chukwu. I'm gonna check his last name up. I'm not
Children's, I think his name is Children or something like that.
It's like Chimbuctu or something like that. I'm gonna jack it. I jacked it up, but it's something like that. But you got so much shit out here. You got Santana, who has created a situation where people don't have to go blind. People can afford eyeglasses now. People can get access to eyeglasses now. So that means that people can now go work and do whatever they want to do. And I don't mean go work and go work a job. I mean, like, you can see. You can do whatever the fuck you want to do. It's a career. I mean, you can do whatever you want to do. The sky's the limit. But we have a situation where we keep counting on these systems to do everything. We don't support each other when we are trying to do anything. Like, everybody on the fucking internet should be talking about the dude. And listen, and I'm saying this, and my husband created something, but I'm saying, even before the eyes, which is extremely important, we need clean water. Why don't the whole world know about Moses West, man? That's fucking
That's crazy. That's so crazy. That's so crazy. Crazy. Like, yo, and to help to build with you, I feel you. That's all I've been hearing brothers talk about is revenge, and all I'm gonna say is like, I've been dousing myself in ancient wisdom and philosophies, and when it comes down to revenge, it says for people that want revenge, be prepared to dig 2 graves.
right.
And I said, yeah, that sounds so right. And for all of my, because the indigenous brothers, the young brothers, they got that fire, that passion, and they're like, yeah, we need to put them do what they did to us. I'm like, so let's hit this straight. Let's hit this straight. Do you understand what it means? What's going to happen to you if you kill a man? Do you know the ramifications of that? Where a spirit that you just killed is going to be binded to you. Nightmares. The whole 9. So to go that route, we're going to stain our spirit and soul even more. So that is not an answer for me.
Listen, look at the bloodlines of the people whose bloodlines participated in it. People are talking about crack and all this other stuff, but the white community has been dealing with their children being strung out on pharmaceutical medicines forever. Why do you think that is? Because it's generational curses. Those kids get born from that bloodline, and they have to deal with the ramifications of the shit that's been going on. So listen, that's what I'm saying. Like, the white people had a trick played on their ass too.
And that's the key. That's the key. Like, if you was born into it, you still have a choice to make.
100%.
My friend and I, we make fun of it, right? But, I've had major things happen, like, consecutively. Like, I don't look like it, you know what I'm saying? But shit has happened. And the thing that we always said was, all right, what you gonna do? You're gonna douse yourself in depression and blame the world and throw your anger at everyone? Or you're going to respond back with something positive. Like, which one are you gonna choose? You're gonna go this way. You're gonna go this way. You're gonna continue going straight. What are you gonna do? You know, as the ancient Chinese philosophy would say, hey, when you're depressed, that means you've been thinking about the past.
Mm-hmm.
When you're thinking about the future, this is where you're getting anxiety and anxious. But if you're living in the moment, the now, you should be at peace.
Right.
Right. And then I do thank the Creator, saying the Most High, for even having all of us on this conversation, because this is something that we need to talk about. How are we going to? I'm asking my brain computer this. Like, how are we going to fix this? What is the how? And then I keep asking how, not why so much, and all the W's. I ask the how, and then it's funny how all of these computer words start entering our language here. Like ideas now is download. So I'm asking how, and then all of a sudden I get the idea or I get the download. Oh, that's how. Hey, preach the truth, talk the truth, walk and talk in the truth. I think this is why we're all here. This is why we're still here, breathing, so we can tell. Because Shango, I think you're a calling for you. That might be a very good purpose.
Yeah, I'm actually interested to know what Shango's idea, or because I know you done thought all this shit that you done thought about how it can be fixed and what that would look like. What are your thoughts?
Huh.
Y'all probably not gonna like it, but war.
War. So let me ask you this. No, I feel like that's the only.
But war gets cool.
Yeah, right. But who's the war for?
So here's the thing, right? The ancients talk a lot about love and loving each other and whatnot. But they also talking about defending yourself, right? If things are in a certain predicament. At this point in time, this is deeper in my perception, little perception, than just about the colonizer or all that.
100%.
This is about our planet is overran by energies that do a lot more than what people know.
Yep.
Even if everybody was to just shoot out love beams like Captain Planet, the reality of it is you still have to deal with the response of that. Because if we were to do that, right? Example, the minute that we go on the corners preaching love and there's a response to that, they have agencies that respond to that, right? And so when that agency comes up and they putting in their work, and you're gonna be like Malcolm X and smile before they shoot you to the next round. And that's not to be the scared part, but it's like the only thing that's going to change something in this world going forward for these children is extreme measures. Because unless if it was a Jesus situation, then I could understand, because it's like, all right, you doing what you're doing. Somebody gonna come back. They're gonna help as a whole. Things that you can't do. If it's an us situation, well, if there's an environmental disaster that wipes out all of those beings and entities, right, then we would start over. But what would we probably try to replace it with? Because at first, there's the trauma of everything that we've dealt. Most people would be cool with goodness for 3 or 4 days, but they're kind of going to go back to the energies that they're used to. That's why I'm like, well, there has to be something drastic, something extreme, something that will leave a mark on everyone from that day forward after, to where they can no longer deny that, hey, it's change or death. I know that's extreme, but think about how human beings work. Like, they either change through repetition, traumatic or dramatic situations, or programming.
So are you saying that this war is just for America?
This would be for the world.
That's what I'm thinking. Like this, you're talking about a quite elaborate war. So what would that actually like? What kind of war would that look like? Because I gotta tell you, the thing that I always talk about is how unsophisticated war is. It hasn't evolved at all. We're still going, literally doing it by land, and it's absurd that we believe that these people are so amazing, but like we're still fighting in wars the same exact way. So like.
Mm-hmm. Well, without let's be honest. What they show us is a play. It's a movie. We haven't had a real physical ground shoot 'em up war in a while. They don't really do those type of things.
What do you say? What's the last we had for the world?
Maybe Vietnam, Korean, maybe was it the Desert War?
Vietnam?
Back in the 90s, maybe around those times. Because the type of technology these militaries have, if they really have a problem with each other, they're not sending ground troops. We saw that back in 1945. If they really had a problem with another country, we're not sending no troops. We're sending one plane, one missile, and leave it at that. If it was really just, we really got a problem with you. Right? And they have countless other technologies. We hear about them all the time. HARP, weather weapons. It's many other things that.
They get Agent Orange in Vietnam, so I know that they go by biological warfare.
Yeah. The truth is, the war that they have, whether people want to acknowledge it or not, this is my position, I could be wrong. The war is the governments against the people.
Yeah, it is.
And so at this point in time, they've already cast the first stone of their warfare. They've affected 100%. Our water. They've affected our air. They've affected our food. They've attacked our children. They've attacked the family system. They've went after everything that if you were using the Art of War strategy book, they've done it. Right? Most people are afraid because the first rule is get rid of your enemy before your enemy knows he's an enemy. So that first rule, subconsciously, that's what comes down to. A dude will fight you before he fight the cops, even though it's more of us than them. So I'm not saying that it's over. It's a doom and gloom situation. It's just that we do live in a universal law system, right? Love is the answer, but you also have to be willing to do the duality part of love. You have to be positive for love, but you also have to be willing to fight for love.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of where we're at the point. Like, even Buddhist monks, they practice martial arts. They some of the most peaceful people on the planet. But if you charge them up, they're gonna whoop your ass. So that's just the way I kind of see it. Could be wrong. Maybe it's the youth or whatever. But I just feel like this is something I felt like as a child. I've always felt like there was, in order for things to change, there was gonna have to be an extreme war. Because growing up, it's the same energy. Like that energy is this. You have the people who want to love and change the world. You have the people that are stuck in the reality and the negative part, right? They're either or. Ever so often you have people in the middle, but then those people in the middle kind of have to change. They kind of have to choose eventually. So the whole thing about it is we've done the positive thing, right? Even when they talk about the Hopi prophecy, they never said it wasn't going to be no war before it was all love. They never said that it was just going to be everybody was just all kumbaya, came together. And I'm not talking about war like every race. I'm talking about you versus the people that are controlling shit. Fight. Look, best example, right? When they reset and all that stuff, that's extreme. Like, that's what would work in our physical realm. Now, if you add all the other stuff to it, like, unless we have something that drastically changes the playing field, I don't see a way outside of it of fighting.
You gonna vote for Trump?
No. No. Wait, but see, they're fighting. They're fighting because they want some get back. I'm talking about people having an understanding of people coming together and saying, look, they have initiated every proclamation of war
It's true.
So the question is, what are we going to do? We know that going outside there and turning the other cheek didn't work.
Nope.
We know that politics don't work.
Nope.
We know that religion doesn't work.
Nope.
We know that geoengineer, we know that science doesn't work. So then, what are we going to do? Because unless extraterrestrials come and even the playing field, Sky Daddy come with thunderbolts, or there's a huge environmental situation that there's a Thanos snap and 50% of the people change, 50% of the people are gone from this realm, and so we come together because we realize all of our, problems is just, like you said, a search for love and the pain and trauma. It would have to be something extreme. The world only learns from extreme situations. In each of our lives, we only learned when something crazy happened.
So let me ask you, so what do you think? Do you think that civilians could get the military to align with them? Because that's the only way we would be able to do it.
I mean, here's the thing. At the end of the day, the civilians have to understand that the military has signed an oath, and they're pretty much
they answer to the commander in chief.
Yeah, and not only that, we wouldn't just have to war against humans; we'd have to war against robots, and therefore after too. So this war would be something of a movie. But at this point in time, people have called me extremist and crazy, but I'm just like, okay, well, give me a better option.
Yeah, no, I get it. That's why I'm asking. Shit, I'm asking because it's just like shit. Because no way that I think that anything makes sense anymore. Nothing makes sense.
What we were taught was education and politics. We know that was the thing that saved niggas from going crazy. That's gone now. We know that we just had Obama in there and their little dream faded away. And then right after we had the little dream and it faded away, they gave probably the most racist president of all time as a reminder. Oh no, you still a nigga, and you gonna see, we gonna make America great on you niggas too. So that was a direct response, and guess what? They called him Donald Trump one of the greatest presidents ever because financially.
Yeah.
And now the niggas done forgot all the stuff. Hey man, when Trump was in, my PPP loan. So it's like, all right, well, it's not gonna be political and education. And yes, I would love to say that love can solve everything, but we also got to be real with
I say the only thing that can save us all, right? And because we're gonna have to have all hands on deck here, and if everyone can stand on truth, it's the only way. Because I don't see any other way. Frances Cress Welsing, she studied racism, and then she went over to Germany and asked the Germans, like, what were you doing when the Nazis was running amok? And then the answer messed me up 15 years ago, right? The answer was, the Germans said, what the hell are you talking about? I got mortgage, I got rent, I got kids to raise, I got this and that, and boo. I ain't got time for that. And so when I heard that, it's just like, holy shit, we're repeating history again right now.
Is that the same thing we said earlier? Like the niggas, okay, thing. I'm sorry.
Right, and so the only way to break the chain, everyone got to stand on truth and truth only. You've got to know where you're at. You gotta know your environment. You gotta know what they've done. You've gotta know. You gotta forgive it. I forgive it all the way through, but I'm not gonna forget nothing. That's key. Let's not forget anything, right? Let's forgive and let's move on, because now we got to figure out how, right? And for me, the standpoint I'm at, violence is not the answer. I don't want anyone. I don't want any brother, any white man, any Chinese man, whatever you want to label yourself as. I don't want that on your soul. That has ramifications. So if we're going to do this,
if it's done in a certain merit, right? I'm not telling nobody to go do anything.
You're right.
I'm not telling nobody to do anything. I will never.
I feel you. In self-defense, you're free to do whatever you want.
When we're already in self-defense mode, It's like we're 30 years late of knowing. Oh yeah, put your hands up. Oh no, you've been knocked out. You in the stretcher. You in the emergency. When people awaken and find out what's happening, you're in the emergency room. They've already punched you. What is your response?
Yes.
So most people, if you watch Bobby Hemmett, remember when Bobby said, "Yeah, when I found out I wanted to help all my people," yeah. And then he's like, "Yeah, I found out you ain't supposed to help these niggas." Because okay, now we're at that point. We are in 2023. We just had one of the biggest situations ever happened in the world. Stopped everything. Now before that, we already knew what they was doing. So the response is this, right? Like I said, we either have a Messiah, Jesus figure, come back and do something. Extraterrestrials. This is what it sounds like. Extraterrestrials.
That's real shit, though. This is real shit.
And it can be two things. Extraterrestrials come and humanity bands together to fight something outside of themselves.
That's Ronald Reagan.
Right? There you go. Right?
Yeah, right.
Or humanity, they come and they give humanity the grounds for evolution or something like that. Or we decide that since ain't nobody else going to give the salvation, we burn this shit to the ground and start over. However that means, because at the end of the day, that's the only practical answer. Every other answer is a wish, a dream, a hope, a love, optimism. Those things don't build anything in this world. They do help make great families and help great relationships. But hope and optimism, they don't build trains. Practicalism does, right? They don't stop wars because we have so many things going on. I'm saying I love the philosophy of love and all those things, but once you have, this is like, I'll say this, you can have as much love and good intention that you want. But if you go up, as a man, you go to a girl and that's not what she on, you're not getting that. No matter how much love you have in you, how much light you have in you, how great your soul is. And so you learn that lesson. It's not about me. It gets to a point where it's like, I can have all this light that I want, but am I willing to do some things that I need to do? Which where we're at the point is, are you willing to die for this world to be a better place? Because if you're not willing to die, I don't know what you're gonna do.
I'm in total agreement with you, and
because that's the real love, sacrifice. Do you love the world so much? Ain't that what they talk about you? Do you love your family, your friends, your community, your world so much that you will die for it? Because I know it's a superhero, but look at Batman.
No, listen, let's
look at Batman. Let's take the story.
It's just real shit. You just spit. It's just real shit.
You have a man, even though he's a privileged white man. You have a man whose parents died in front of him. Right? I'm just keeping one. You have a privileged white man whose parents died in front of him, but his response is unlike any other. He said, "You know what? I'm going to take this trauma and use it to build me. I'm going to go to every country that I could to learn as much knowledge as I can. I need to know the criminal mind." He had to go totally into the dark side of who he was to come back to his city to protect it. Are people willing to do that? Because he's willing to die. That's what it means. You want to be loved? Like, okay, you're going to have to be a warrior of love, because if you're not willing to do that, people, see, that's the thing. People want it comfortable. They want it kumbaya. But you do kumbaya after the war. That's where everybody comes together. Look at Star Wars, right? Everybody came together in celebration after the war. But you can't be out there with your hands talking about, I love you, I just want to put I love him. You finna get killed. And that's where we're at. Ain't that what the Christians practice? Jesus, we love Jesus, we love. Guess what? But guess what? Those people that y'all supposedly love and the money y'all give and the society y'all hold up, it don't love you. And it's killing you. And you gonna see that before you see Jesus.
You know, so I have a crazy solution. That's
all right.
Yeah, I love this. I love when he gets it going. Go ahead, brother. Go ahead.
I understand 100% that being the outcome, and that being the solution, the only one that seems logical. Because despite how harsh it may seem to others, what you said is 100% logical, and we base our logic on what we know and our experiences, what we see.
Mm-hmm.
So we only have a logic up to our own experiences, and the only way we've seen change truly take place is through war and violence. And this is coming from a violent man. I'm a violent man. I don't do violent acts, but we grew up in this, I'm sure, a similar situation where it's life or death, and we had to protect ourselves.
Most definitely.
But you know what would fix things? You know what would fix things that doesn't require a war? Something less extreme, but at the same time extreme. Do you realize what would happen if everybody just walked outside?
Yeah, that would affect everything. Yeah.
If everybody just walked outside, we could break it without bloodshed. You don't have to be naked. I'll go naked though. You know, I'm saying you dig it. Like literally, like I understand it. The week that I came up with preventable blindness and the technology, 3 days later, my son was brain dead from his doctor. Right, severely brain damage. I lost a person who was my son. And I was thrown all the way into this thing. So I understand that sentiment of having to, the anger of, man, I swear to God, I have a whole bunch of patents in a whole bunch of different countries. And the shit that I think about, I can't even repeat, and I have to get out of my brain because they're destructive towards the people who are killing children and poisoning children. But what I've learned through this crazy journey I've been on is that the devil don't care who wins the fight. The devil just wants to fight. The devil, it's like all these wars we fought, whether it's Vietnam, whether it's Iraq, whether it's Afghanistan, you hear everybody saying, we lost the war. But no, the devil lost. I mean, the devil won. Humanity lost. The devil won because the devil always wants to fight. And look at our human nature. Man, if I heard there was 2 10-year-olds going to the playground to fight at 3 o'clock, I'm going to get some popcorn at 2:55 to fight. And the devil wants to fight. We don't have to fight. And this is talking to a fighter. My whole life has been about fighting. But the devil wants to fight. And the devil wins when we fight. If we just walked outside, that's all we have to do.
But we have to do it all at the same time.
That's my whole point.
But it has to be all around the world.
But listen, you don't got to kill nobody for that.
Not at all.
Everybody can just, all of us,
that would definitely put a glitch in the matrix for sure.
Outside at the same time would break it off.
Okay.
But we haven't seen it.
Yes, never happened.
We've seen wars. We've seen sanctions. We've seen genocide by way of our medical community. We walk outside. And how do you know that's powerful? We know that's powerful because all of y'all was on punishment for 2.5 years when you couldn't come outside. Because it was power to keep us inside. We all, like, literally just say, hey, fuck it. the 5th of November, everybody walk outside. Just go outside and sit on your porch and leave your phone in the house. Everybody just walks outside. We'll fix it.
And I would say something, Santana. I'm gonna tell you right now. I've got stuff written down in the phases, and I tell you right now that the water is the best idea I've ever heard in 10, 15 years. Like, and since I'm a football coach and a football player, so this fight, I've got this lion shirt on just to let everybody know, like, this is the rage I got. You know what I mean? And I've calmed that down. I've tamed this beast. Now, could you imagine what would happen, right? Because since we have a problem in unification, right? We're good at everything, but unification is very hard for us. Since it's so hard for us, we have to practice first at it, like you said. And when you said that, Santana, that's a football thing here. You know what I mean? I use football and put it in twice. It's a war thing. It's a war thing. Yeah, look, and I tell you, bro, oh man, I'm telling you, the light bulbs went off. Like, do you understand that if, one step, just one thing, one goal, one accomplishment, and when we accomplish that goal as a whole, do you know what that does to the psyche of every brother here? We set our mind on one goal, one thing, and if we accomplished it, free water for everyone. Go. Free water for everyone. Worldwide.
But here's the thing, right? Like, water is a wonderful thing. Like, what we are talking about, and specifically, is a solution to fix humanity, to come together. All of humanity, the 8 billion people, all come together despite trauma, history, government, language, ethnicity, everything together, right? You're asking for all that to come together despite the forces and powers that are doing what they're doing, right? So you get people to the water. The world's problem isn't food, it's not water, it's drink, right? And that's a wonderful thing. I'm not downplaying that. The world's problem is, in order to get everybody on the same page of looking at somebody else as themselves, 8 billion people, that's a philosophy, right? Some people don't even have a philosophy type mindset.
True.
Right? So that's the first thing. The second thing is, yeah, you can get people to all go outside and we glitch the matrix, but now you get them to do it for an hour. There's the 23 hours of what do we do now? Not that you have to have a plan.
No, that's great question. Great question.
Not that you have to have a plan, but the response is this. Even, and I use the movies, even Avengers, right? When Thanos snapped and 50% of the people were gone, that event left everybody, like, you remember how it was, people were shaky. Like, it didn't make the world a better place, like, right? It was just kind of, because what you're asking for is for everybody, no matter what age of how long they've been through, going through something, to erase that data in their mind and start on a brand new page off of the concept of hope and love. I'm not saying it's unrealistic, because I'm not a hater, but
it's tricky.
I know, people, and you know that people would get extremely bored, antsy, and anxious a little bit after that. We may have that glitch, but how do we keep that going? I'm not talking about I'm not saying you gotta have a plan either. I'm just saying that we know people, and that in this world of practicalness.
And it's great question, and that's exactly it. I do have a plan, but the problem is this: no one wants loss, no one wants to sacrifice, and like we said, no one who is living a good situation wants to trade their good situation for a lesser situation. The vast majority of us. It's very few who are willing to sacrifice. And people,
that's the whole perception of hard work, right? Why people, like most people work hard and they get a job, they're like, nah, the response is you're lazy. It's like, no, that may not be who I am.
Right.
But no, but you're lazy. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah.
Right. If we just, first off, we as humanity are fucked up because we aren't seeing each other. That's number one. Us going outside at the same time gives us back the power to let us know that we are in control. Mm-hmm. We can do something outside of this system together. So that's step one. And you don't have to pick up a gun or fight the neighborhood bully. All you need to do is that if we say at 7 o'clock, everyone at 7 o'clock around the world, go outside. It is just on your porch. And what are we? We are nothing more than shells housing a spirit.
Most definitely.
What happens when you have all of the spirits doing the same thing at the same time for the same cause? Because we're not just telling you to go on your porch, because go on your porch ain't going to get you exercise or make you a superhero. It says go on your porch, go outside of your house for humanity. So we just do one act of walking out of our house at the same time for humanity. And all we have to do is open our eyes and see each other. The frequency energy, the frequency bomb that's generated from just all of us doing something as simple as being on one accord and going outside for a better future. Man, you break this shit simply. You break it because you've been places. You've been to you're young, but you've been to if you were at the Million Man March.
Yeah.
The energy that was in that area, you can cut through it with a knife. You've been to concerts. You've been to sports events where your team just won, and everybody on your side in that stadium from your city is happy that your city just won a Super Bowl or the World Series. That energy for that act that means nothing in the scheme of humanity. What energy gets produced if all of us see that we walk outside at the same time for one cause and not for sex trafficking?
Yeah, not for just for a better world. Yeah.
For nothing. Just to say, you know what? We all want the world to be a better place, right? That's what we say. Everyone has an idea. Get rid of the foreigners. Get rid of the transgenders. Put prayer back in school. Start going to church. Everybody got a different objective of what's going to fix everything. So we're saying nothing polarizing. Nothing that's going to cause people to have to hurt. And sacrifice is necessary. But the way I see it, all of us, humanity, are already sacrificing and hurting enough. Some more than others, but we're all being robbed from our true glory. All of humanity. That's what's been done for a couple 100 years.
But would you agree to a degree? I'm sorry. When you agree that to a degree, though, the thing about the philosophy in a human man in general is that man is neither all good or all bad, right? So it's like,
but the system is all bad.
Yeah, well, the system's all bad, but it's also like, let's keep it 100. As much as we hate the bad guy validates us. The bad guy gives us a purpose. He gives us a mission. Right? It's just like this, right? If you remember back Dark Knight, The Joker said, "Hey, I didn't come out until Batman showed up. Once Batman showed up, he gave me a purpose." And I always keep going to that movie because it's super philosophical if you actually think about
Fantastic
it.
Movie. Fantastic movie.
Right? What Batman showed is that, to me, that as much as they're like we all want to love each other and we could all change the world, the reality of it is there has to be a sacrifice because that's part of the universal law. To get something, you got to give something. Some levels is higher, some levels is lower, right?
And you still what you give?
And so,
we're asking humanity. We're asking humanity to put down your cell phone for 1 hour. Sacrifice your social media, your IG account, your TikTok for 1 hour, and all of us just walk outside.
okay.
It's as simple as it sounds. It is powerful.
No, don't get me wrong. I look. I'm buying y'all dream. I'm in there, man. I'm outside. Yeah, celebration. I'm with y'all. But then I also But the thing is also.
No, think about what he's saying. Think about what he was saying because Michael Jackson made a song like that. He said, "What would happen if we all cried tonight?" Imagine if that, like what he's saying, like just go outside. But when Michael Jackson made the song, said, "What if we all cry at the same time tonight?" What implications?
Yeah, because I was wondering if maybe we should do some sort of frequency or something like that when we go outside. And listen, my whole thing is this may not be a thing that just catapults in one day. But I feel like we should at least do baby steps to just see how much cooperation can we get from humanity as a whole. Because listen, war sounds, like very effective, right? But how many people do you think that you're going to be able to get all of humanity to be down with killing people? So if we can, let's see if we can at least just get them to just go outside. Then you can at least, if that don't work, you can at least see that you got some soldiers.
Yeah, but literally, and that's understandable. But here's the thing about the human. I've seen this as a kid, right? The whole thing about it is we didn't get in this situation by small countermeasures. We got in this situation by an extreme situation. Now, I know, what do they call it? The death of 1,000? When you drop 1,000 water drops on something, and eventually, yes. So you have that. The situation we have in front of us, though, if we were going to do that, that probably would have wanted to be hundreds of years ago. To by now, people would be ready. I'm not saying that the leaders are going to have everything ready. I'm saying that the measures that we have now are effective with the prophecies. Because if we go by the prophecies, in order for everything to be good, there's going to have to be drastic annihilation of a lot of people. And that goes by any text.
Or Christ.
Yes. But even if the Christ does come, right? It's only millions of people that's going. The rest of the billions of us are going to hell. So if you roll with that, it's an L. Either way, it's an L. Either way, you're going to lose something. Either way, it's going to be extreme. So that's why I'm like, well, based upon the things that we've seen and that we can measure, and the things that have been told us in the past, even the Hopi prophecy, whatever, there'll be a time where the white, yellow man, red man all come together, and the children will then the rainbow children. Yeah, but until then, it's disaster. Yeah. Until then, it's the pole shift. So it's like, yeah, even if all humans was to go outside and do exactly what you're saying, you're not stopping the environmental disasters, right? You're not, and I'm not hating. I'm just saying that.
But that's that. Let me cut you off. Then I cut you off. Let me jump in. But we do. You understand that 3, 6 is 9. Remember, Einstein said. I'm sorry. Tesla. Einstein was no genius to me. Tesla, he's a true genius. I respect him. But Tesla said, if you understand the 3, 6, and the 9, you understand reality. You understand what the nature of the 3, the 6, and the 9s are. That hurricane, that earthquake, of course, earthquakes got earthquake generating machines, but that earthquake, that hurricane, all of that is energy. They don't produce on their own. Energy drives those. Energy, life is nothing more than an exchange of energies. For you to live, you gotta eat a fruit, take its energy for you to absorb that, for you to have sustained life. A hurricane ain't just a hurricane. It's not an accident that the hurricanes follow the exact same path as the slave trade. All of it is energy. So we give energy to these things, and we control the weather. It's not an accident in the English language they named the word weather in your decision weather. The weather, we control the weather. You look at the ice age, the second ice age. They call it Europe's little ice age, when all of Europe got ice cold, and you're going to find the pattern that it goes in, that it coincides with them the starting of the slave trade. The same thing can be said about when the Arabs originally started the slave trade. You'll find the routes that they took their slaves through have now become deserts. It's the weather. It's all energy. So these things do not have to take place. They're charging up this big ass weapon of fear, anger, hate, and anxiety to unleash it on us. But it's all energy, and we get to take that back. And if we went outside just 1 hour, do you understand that this system is broken from that one action? That one action. What do you think's going to happen when you go outside and see your neighbors? Everyone's outside, and you see your neighbors, even the ones you don't like, are going to be like, what's up? Because we have a common goal. Everyone who walks outside is saying that we want for the good of humanity. We have a goal in our head. We're not saying one specific thing. I'm all about protecting children. But I'm not going to go out and say, this is about the children. This is about gun laws. I'm saying that we want to change. And everyone who wants to change, go out there with that in mind. It breaks overnight. It's literally that simple. But, because of this lack of haircut and this beat up version you see of me, I don't really quite get listened to. But that energy takes away from what they're trying to do at Yellowstone. It takes away from all the events. We're going to do another live, and I'm going to go through about 30 events that are happening that's been planned in the future and show you how all of them coincide by the numbers. I have a pattern that I detected and let you know. I can tell you the year they're going to kill any celebrity. I can show you the year they're going to kill them and who's responsible for the killing. I got this algorithm that's fucking ridiculous.
Using gematria, I think? Or no?
No, it is. It is. I'm not It is beyond gematria, because gematria needs something to happen first before you can see it. This here is a numerical system that we're not aware of. But I promise you, if we can just get everybody to go outside, and it'll be a great day. If everybody could go outside, it's too soon for it. I would say September the 11th, because they did that for a particular date because they worship that certain beast. But it doesn't give us enough time. If we started a campaign and said, okay, listen, everybody.
January 6th.
No, before then. We need that before then, because we need this shit to end before my birthday. As a matter of fact, hell, my birthday. It's all about me.
That's funny. That's hilarious.
I swear to God, gentlemen, if we could get everyone to just go outside for 1 hour at the same time, it's over. Because even though we may have different things we want, for example, better pay, less discrimination, equal rights for women, these things, we all acknowledge that there is the problem. For us to want to go outside to make things better, we're acknowledging something at the same time. There's a problem. And all of us going outside at the same time, manifesting at the same time, spiritual warfare, nothing can fuck with that. And I'm just saying, we should try it. Can you dig it?
And I can dig that. I can dig that. And the reason why I can dig that, Santana and Shango, right? Because it's never been done. And in the movie Matrix Part 1, right? And when he said this to Tiffany, she said, no one has ever done this before. He was like, I know. That's why it's going to work.
That's why it's going to work. And you know what?
Man, Santana, man, this is live. You my dog, brother. You my dog.
Yes. Listen, my favorite poet, Langston Hughes, I was a Harlem Renaissance cat, and Langston Hughes has a character that he always references in his poems, a guy named Simple. And Simple was portrayed as a country bumpkin who every time he comes up with an answer for something, it's always very simple. And he was speaking broken English to give a solution to something. And then after all of the smart intellectual people get together to have the discussion, they all end up doing exactly what he said, because the simplest answer is always the best. Just walk outside, man. I promise you, if we just walk outside, so much happens. First, we walk out because we acknowledge something's wrong. Second, we walk out because we want something better. Third, the system breaks. Like that simple. It breaks. No bloodshed. And anybody who's trying to disrupt it, ignore them. Don't let nothing break that peace. All we gotta do is go outside. That's all we gotta do. And guess what? We get to see each other. We get to see each other. And the person who is your enemy, who's outside, guess what? You know he wants something better, and he knows you want something better. So we're not enemies for this hour. All we gotta do is go outside.
Didn't they have that in World War I? Didn't they have like a peace a day where they had peace on both sides?
It was my birthday. It was my birthday, Armistice Day. But they didn't do that. They didn't do that. Nobody did that. Just walk outside. That's it. A question. A wise man once asked a question. A wise man once said to me, it takes Hitler the same amount of steps to get to God as it does Mother Teresa. How many steps is that? One. Just one step. Just one step. And just one step. And I'm not saying go to City Hall or to the police department. I'm saying just walk outside your house. Nothing hard. And if you're at work, walk outside for that hour while you're at work. See what happens. You remember getting fired? They're going to fire everybody? Your boss ain't going to fire you because your boss is in there with you wanting shit to get better. Just go outside. Go outside for just 1 hour. We could save all of humanity and end all this wickedness in the energy that they've generated by just walking outside. Remember when COVID was going down and everybody was in the house? But then when he went outside, you was like, wait a minute. Ain't shit going on. If that lying buffoon on TV didn't tell me it was a pandemic and everybody was sick, I would know it. I wouldn't believe it existed. but just walk outside for an hour together. You fix it all. That's it. It's the simplest thing. Leave your phone in our house and we'll connect to each other. Just for 1 hour. You ain't gotta say nothing to nobody. You ain't gotta hug nobody. If you want to, cool. But just walk outside. Because that's the first step. Because that's acknowledging we want a better way and things aren't right. So when we come up with our second plan, which we will not need, we've all been in line and we understand how to do it together. That separates sexuality, financial, religious. It parts all those lines. So all of us agreeing that, hey, things aren't right and we want a better way. Is there anyone on this planet who do not agree with what I just said, those sentiments? Today we agree that things aren't right and we want a better way. So all of this fear that they're feeding off of is zapped. It's zapped. You know, Christ died on the cross, right? If you're into Christianity. But Christ didn't go and punch people in the face like I do. I've punched many people in the face. I'm a professional face puncher. Christ's job isn't to come in and swoop in like some type of magic knight or sky daddy, as you say. Mm-hmm. The Christ's job was just to show you the way. It was to give you direction. And if you didn't follow your direction, you get what you get. So we got a situation where it's something that we can do. I think it's a beautiful message. I didn't want to say it. I wanted Ariel to say it. Because anytime I say something, people get to say, you a dumb nigga. But since I'm amongst you guys who they call y'all crazy niggas, I say, well, fuck it. Let's go ahead and say it. I think we just go like that.
I don't see that.
Outside.
I mean, you know, it's crazy. That's cool.
Well, listen, when I was 33, I didn't have half the wisdom that you have. You are. Listen, I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you. Not to say that I'm better than you. I'm saying I'm proud of you. I am genuinely proud of you, and I'm just proud of you. There's no buts. I'm proud of you.
Thank y'all.
And you came up with a solution, which is a logical solution. And
you know what? Here's the thing. If you had caught me when I was 11, I would have been like, I would have went exactly with your plan. Like, so when you say that, that's about no. Like, it's not a slight. That's but that's not a slight of him. Because honestly, that's a good thing. Like, because I sit back and I think about my life, some of the things I've been through, and I'm like, when was I the most happiest? And I was like, when did I feel the lightest? Because, you know, in Egyptian times, they talk about when you die, if your heart is not as light as a feather, then you can come back. Right. So I think about it, and I always remember the scene at Digimon, right? Where they got rid of the Dark Masters, and everybody was just, everybody was together, and they was happy, and all the adults and all the children, they were all, and everybody was doing exactly what you said, because everybody was in unison. So when I think about spirituality, it always reminds me of that eventually. But then now it's like, well, I mean, that's a wonderful, wonderful thing. It's like you want that, but it's like, well, do I see that? And it's like, can I see that in my mind's eye in the future? Of course. It's like, yes. But what
the reason why you can see it is because you already saw it.
Mm-hmm.
You already saw it. Like I'm beyond Digimon. I'm too old for that. I mean, I wasn't doing that time at Digimon where you saw it. You saw it, and you saw it.
So, like you see it, but I think the thing with it now is not that I can't see it. It's just like he was saying, how would we be able to do that for people? Because like I've met, I haven't met as many people as you, but you meet people, you have real conversations, you have real interpretations, see where they're at, where you're at, things that have happened in life, and you see a common thing of, oh man, you know, they've been through something, I've been through something, and you know, you lose friends, you lose girlfriends, you lose all that, and in my mind, when I was younger, I used to always be like, man, like, how do people grow out of each other, or why do people do the things? And then when you get older,
Yes.
you go through it, and it's just like, man, like you get to a point where you have to choose, like, are you gonna stick by that principle, or are you gonna worth going through pain and dying for it? And then you get to a point that you're like, well, I gotta choose myself over them situations instead of trying to be the we are the world, because when you use that, people like, they don't care. I'm gonna give you an example. I had a girl I dated once, right? She was drunk. And she no, this is for no, there was no funny stuff. So she's drunk, and she told me, she's like, yeah, you treat me better than my own mother. And I said what? She's like, you treat me better than my own mother. And I said, now mind you, she ended up breaking up with me a month later and doing the most crazy stuff, right? But from that situation, I sit back and I think, I'm like, well, anytime I've ever experienced love or whatever, it's always cost me something. Like, whether it be my parents, that's just me. I don't know if I'm right or wrong. I was like, whether it's been my parents, my mother used to love me so much. Now, she goes through so many things, and it's like, I don't know how to help it, even though I've tried what I could, probably not in the best of ways, but I tried. My father, I didn't really, that's not what he was about. Now he wants that from me, and it's like, well, that's not what we built, and that's not what I learned from the world. Now I still have my heart, I still have my intentions, I still want to make the world a better place, but in my years of going around trying to distribute that, people have necessarily taken advantage of it or looked at it as a weakness. So then you sit back and you be like, well, that's not how the world operates. And it's like, I read those philosophical books, and I'm like, well, in order for them to reenact that, they must have been really great people, because it's like, doing that, if the world never changed, there's nothing new under the sun. It's like, I don't know how they did it, because when you give people your heart, just your heart, no money, no intentions, no nothing, like, I remember being 17, and there was this dude that knew my friends. So I see him out, and you know, when you out at that age, you don't know how to really socialize. You just want to be acknowledged. So I remember going up to him, like, hey man, hey, what's up? And he's like, oh, what's up? And you know, I played it off. He's like, yeah man, da da. And he's like, yo, where's your friends at? Like, da da da. And I remember, I learned a lesson. I was like, you can't show people love like that. You have to do it on a cool level, because if you do it outright, people respond weird if they're not okay with that. You know, even with a girl, a woman, let's say it was a woman, I didn't want nothing sexually. Hey, queen, hug her. Queen, who are you trying to do that? Like, you get to a point to where it's like, well, people don't want love. I may want to give that to them the best that I can, but in me doing that, now I question what that looks like for myself. So it's not their fault. I made that choice. You got to live with it. So it's like, every time, and I think that's most young people's story, but under y'all's generation, love has gotten people broken into 1,000 pieces. So when you say, hey man, the answer is love, it's like, well, that's not what the world taught me. It's not what my mom taught me. It's not what my father taught me. It's not what my school taught me. It's not what my friends taught me. It's not what the government taught me. It's not what my jobs taught me. That's not with some of the girls that I've tried to fall in love with the most. That's not what they've taught me. You know what they have taught me? You gotta be cool. You gotta play games. You gotta be able to read in between the lines. You gotta be able to be 2 steps ahead. You gotta make money. You gotta have some status. You have to be everything but the intentional, genuine you. So if you learn that, if you take 1,000 slashes on your back, then after a while it's like, well, damn, that's just what that is. And that's probably the internal battle that I have the most. Like, I'm like, I can't be like that. I'm like, but that's me. I can't be like that, but that's me. So then it's like, that's why I hear y'all. Like, I hear y'all in the perfect world.
So
yeah.
Let me tell you about that.
Mm-hmm.
Let me tell you about that right there. What I learned the hard way. I am a fool. Let me tell you what a fool I am. Before I moved to Europe in 2017, and before I left, I gave away 5 cars or 7 cars, between 5 and 7 cars. I had 10 cars. For my business, I didn't want my employees. I wanted my employees to live a good life. So they had their own cars, but I didn't want them to use their cars for work. So I bought an additional car so they can come to work in their vehicle and just use one of my vehicles to do work in, so they can maintain their beautiful car, their beautiful life, and X, Y, and Z. 2 years ago, 23 years ago, I financed 13 countries with over $100,000 individually worth of optical equipment, eyeglasses, and a training for all these people. The government didn't like that very much because the government was doing their job with this pandemic, and they literally stole everything from me, took everything illegally. And that's why I was letting you know that people who think court is real and the police is real and the FBI is real don't realize they're all Masonic pledges. You understand that I buried people's mothers, a couple people's mothers, paid people's tuitions. This woman who we know, she was about to lose her house, and we saved her house for, we gave and gave and gave and gave. My money was stolen and my son was poisoned. You know, I send them an email and they respond back, take me off of the email list because I'm a fool. But what I learned from all these things that I'm getting at is, if you're in a place where you can't be the loving human being that you are, you need to leave. Jesus said that a prophet is never respected amongst his own people. You got to go somewhere else where you can be your true self. So if you can't be in a place where you can be beautiful, pack your shit and leave. I'm going to tell you about the death of 1,000 cuts. Imagine having a 3-month-old who's already talking. Rich. I'm rich, and while I'm rich, I have the most expensive technology on the planet. My technology doesn't just involve eyeglasses. My technology makes it you can look at your computer, your television, your tablet, your watch, your phone, everything without your glasses. That's my technology. So I'm rich. I've got this technology, and I just sold my block for a hefty profit. And then I take my son to his doctor and carry him out. And now, for the past 7 years, my son has been shaking profusely like polio victims. He's in diapers, can't talk for 7 years. And I have to watch this. And I know how to cure him. Polio, autism, even cancer. But because I'm a whistleblower and fix something the system didn't want fixed, I can't even receive mail. I can't get my son's medicine that I know that heals him. What heals my son? What's healed everybody always? It's called lipospheric vitamin C. If you know a child or a parent of someone who has a child who has autism, lipospheric vitamin C cures all of it. Cures cancer. People don't realize that, when polio took place back in the 50s, when all of a sudden this new disease called polio came out. It's a doctor by the name of Robert Brenner who cured 60 out of 60 of his patients. People don't even know polio was cured. He gave them vitamin C intravenously. 60 out of 60. But you understand they needed to give you that vaccine even back then in the 50s. They had to give him that vaccine back in the 50s.
Let me show y'all. Hold on.
So,
let me show y'all.
When he proved to the world, it was even published in the Science Diagnostics. It was published everything.
It's Frederick.
That's Frederick.
Here you go. Treatment of polio. Here you go. I gave you glasses.
Here you go.
You can read it to the audience.
So, let me read this to you. Now, I get a little emotional about this, so you have to excuse me. And my education's from Baltimore City Public Schools, so they didn't teach us how to read real good. I read good in my brain, but I talk. So understand, this gentleman by the name of Dr. Klenner, his whole name is Frederick Klenner. Look it up for yourself. In polio, vitamin C destroys the virus. It is also used as a diuretic, removing polio-caused edema from the brain, preventing compression of the cells lining the nervous system. Okay? I'm not going to read the whole thing to you because anybody can look for themselves. But if you got somebody who is sick at home, lipospheric vitamin C fixes all of it. I'm not going to read this whole thing because can you guys see the screen?
Yeah, I can see it. Yeah, there's no problem. Yeah,
Okay. So I'm going to put this in the chat because reading the whole thing is it's a lot. But understand that it cured everything. But they needed to give everybody these vaccines. This took place back in the 50s and the 60s where they said that polio could only be cured with that it could only be cured by a vaccine. Only a vaccine could cure polio. You can't do nothing with polio except get a vaccine. If that doesn't sound familiar to you, you can take it off. I'm going to just put it in the thread for you. We're going to leave the link in the thread. So, this gentleman cured all this shit. And testimony and got witnesses. Everything is published. But what ended up happening? They ended up still putting out the vaccine because the system needed everyone to get the vaccine for polio. You understand? So what they did was they conducted their own tests and they gave people vitamin C in small doses orally and said, that don't work. So you gotta get the vaccine. The same play just took place. Well, I know for a fact how to cure my son who's been shaking for the past 7 years, 24 hours. I have to hold him at night in order for him to go to sleep. And some days he don't sleep for 3 days in a row. I've cried more than you can imagine. And this happened because I fixed something called preventable blindness. It took my boy. And they make it that I can't treat my boy because they need me in this fucked up frequency. I don't even look like this. It's not even how I look. I used to be good looking. I used to be cat daddy. But I'm fucked up because I have to watch my son suffer 24 hours a day talking about death 1,000 cuts. This has been going on for 7 years. And the system steals my son's medicine. They won't let me get his medicine. And this is over the counter. You can go to your grocery store and buy it over the counter right now. But we're in Mexico, so they don't have those luxuries and different things like that. And when I leave out the house, the CIA follows me and my wife whenever we walk out the house. So I'm telling you, we've been hurt, and you've been hurt. I'm just telling you that hurt is my best friend. The only thing that's constant in my life is hurt. And the worst kind of hurt, because my son lives just like me. I waited till I was rich and 41 years old to have a kid, because I wanted life to be perfect for my kids, because you know how life coming up and this skin looks and feels, and how you're treated and dismissed, and just, you know how we get treated. So I said, I'm not having no kids until I'm rich, where I can buy my way out of this shit. Well, I didn't know that they poison kids. I didn't know. So I gotta live with that. That's my choice. So I know pain. And I know pain.
Yeah.
I also know that pain is what holds me down. And the trauma that, you know how you talk about the past fucks you up because you think about the past, and the future fucks you up because of your anxiety. They got me good because this is my present. My present is watching my son suffer, so it's harder for me to manifest. But I understand it. So my natural thing is to sail in witch trials. All pediatricians, all oncologists. I want to have a conversation with all of them, and I want everybody's parents to know that they doctor poison their kid. And whatever happens to them, happens. But what I know more than anything is that the devil wins when we fight. So instead of giving the devil what he wants, I decided not to kill nobody. And everybody's laughing at me. All the people who were secretly envious of me and my wife because we were rich and happy are laughing, including my mother. My mother's husband went and got the shot after my son got sick to say fuck you to me. You understand? So I understand betrayal and hurt. I understand the betrayal and hurt. But if you can't be who you are, where you are, go somewhere else. Go far away. And brother, let me tell you, I don't like people. You are exceptional. You ain't average. You ain't okay or alright, brother. You are beyond exceptional. You. And if people can't see that, get the fuck away from them, because they stealing your light. There's women and friends and people who would love to have you in their presence. And if they don't see you, move along, because the right people will see you.
No, I'm like, no, you know, I wasn't. Y'all been through real stuff. I was just saying that my little.
No. That's not.
No. What you went through was real, man. A woman breaking your heart hurts.
That hurts, bro.
It's real.
That's real. Listen, they lied to us and told us we was children. Oh, it's puppy love. Everybody's gonna break your heart, so get over it.
And see, actually, what you just did to yourself is what the system does to us. See, they get to decide what is
it's puppy love.
Yeah, exactly. They get to decide things.
But guess what? That first one still hurts. You understand?
Facts.
That first one still hurts, but it did not get acknowledged because, oh, you young, this is gonna happen to you 1,000 times. Guess what? It don't have to happen. That's bullshit. That love that you had, that first one was pure, it was true, it was childlike, it was innocent, and it still hurts. So you mentioned that you felt good when you was like an 11.
Yeah.
Guess what? We're supposed to be that way. We're supposed to think, we're supposed to be, everything that we learn as adults is a lie. But when we was 11, going out in the swing, or squeezing the fat girl booty at nighttime,
That's real, man.
No,
brother.
And in saying that,
that's real. That's real. That's hurt. That's hurt.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to hear that, man. There's a lot of energy I felt from that. Yeah, and that's the thing, man. You know, it sucks because the people that do fight and do all that, people don't even know. They don't even know.
Don't even know. And if people just go outside, outside.
And I tell y'all, gentlemen, there's a reason why we were all having this conversation today. You feel me? That only feels like I just looked at the ticker. It only feels like an hour went by.
I know, because I was literally just
all I know.
I shut this down for 5 hours.
Go ahead, build it. Cook, baby, cook.
Yeah, I mean, hey, man, look, I don't care about nobody else. I care about what I'm seeing on the screen. You know what I'm saying? This is my only concern. You feel me? And all I know, brothers, all I know, man, I felt this. I know I've been feeling this, and I know you guys have been feeling this. But I'm just gonna let you know, like, we can't leave here until we clean this place up, yo. Cause I'll be damned. That Santana's kids, my nieces and nephews, your family members, when they get to our age, that they're talking about the same problem we're having this discussion. I'll be damned. Don't understand it. I failed. If my family members talking about this. Straight up. Like I failed.
How do you think Malcolm X's reincarnation or whatever feels? You understand, if you put on Ballad and the Bullet right now, it's literally exactly what we dealing with. And that was what, 1965? 1964. Play Ballad of the Bullet if you haven't heard it in a while. Play it again.
Yeah.
So I want you to understand this.
Nothing's changed.
Nothing changed.
But let me tell you how crazy this is.
Listen to Gil Scott-Heron. The revolution will not be televised.
Here's a crazy fact. I don't need a machine gun or a tank. If just 10 people stood up for me and Ariel, I could get medicine for my kid. But we can't even get 10 people. You dig? So, I'm gonna win this motherfucker. I know how it all turns out. And like Batman, I'm using my hurt. My hurt fuels me. And it's unlimited. You dig? And I don't care what happens to me. I don't care. I die every day. Every time I gotta look at my kid and he can't look at me, I die. A piece of me dies every day. So there ain't nothing left to me. But I didn't go through all of this shit just to go through this shit. Something's going to happen. And personally, they shouldn't have touched my son. They shouldn't have done that.
Since you said that, Santana, you said you need 10 people. Now you need 9. I'm standing up for you, brother. You know what I'm saying? Whatever we gotta do for your son to get this medicine, I'm standing up.
Man, just understand that I could cure my son in 90 days, but no one would even chime in to say, hey, they stealing this man's children's medicine. But you know why they're doing it? Because if we can't see each other, we won't see each other. And I fixed it where we can see each other. So, I'm just saying, I don't want to get all heavy on you, but I want to tell you, man, the way my woman was raving about you, brother, I was like, what you want? What you like, nigga? You understand? Don't make me have to pull up on this nigga.
If you pull up in here, I'm gonna be like, chill out, bruh. I'm just gonna hug you.
Oh man.
You say you 33 years old, and I'm like, what? You know why you 33? Man, because you done fuck that age shit. None of that shit matters. And the hell with people telling you how to hurt. Fuck people who tell you how you're supposed to hurt. You know, people break your heart when you come with good intention. That hurts. And the fact that you don't have an outlet where you can be vulnerable to say I'm hurt hurts me. So I understand why you feel like that, and I'm just letting you know that we literally, when you hurt, I hurt, because we're all connected. Despite all the dumb shit divide us, we are connected, and I think we all can agree on that. Yeah. And that's why I'm trying to encourage everyone, for all of us to walk outside and reconnect again with something simple. And you know what's going to happen? Let me tell you what's going to happen. I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. I promise you this is going to happen. If we do this, fuck that. We're going to do it. When we do this, the next thing someone's going to do is someone's going to play some music. And people are going to feel good. And just realize, and people are going to start dancing, and they're going to remember how it felt to be a kid again, to go outside and see everybody and just dance. And they're going to be changed. Something's going to happen.
That's it, brother. Then you shock me every goddamn time I speak to you, Santana, man. You slap me with common sense all the time, brother. I appreciate you, man, more than ever. Yo, this is why, and Chango, you can eat at my table at any time, brother. Look, I love intelligence. I love wisdom. I love kindness. You know, the things that when we got here with, you know what I'm saying? Like he said, man, Dick Gregory said it, man, you came here pure.
Perfect.
And somewhere, yeah, he said somewhere. You feel me? Somewhere. Right? And I feel you, man. This is it's that pain. And the only thing I've done with my pain is, I just said I can't. The next person's coming. I can't put that on the next person. I gotta release that. That's for me. That you know what I'm saying? I can't do anything else about this.
Listen, I wish this is for all the marbles for me. I bet. Listen, man. I don't know if you remember or you were around. The Gambia, Australia, Ghana, New York, Belize, Mexico, Atlanta, Compton, California, Baltimore. I supplied them with everything in 2020 because I knew what they was doing with these vaccines, and I was giving everyone a career where they can basically, I supplied them with all the goods for them to have their own career. I was giving away businesses for free. The NAACP and the Black Panther Party in Compton stole $3 million worth of goods from me. There's an organization in the Gambia called Blacks that's job is to get black people to leave America and to go to Africa. Stole the shit. And everyone else I sent it to didn't even use it. And because I did such a fuck you move, the system came down on me very, very hard. And I'm sitting in Mexico penniless overnight with a sick child. But I'm still alive. So for me, it's for all the marbles. And I owe my son a chance. And you know what I want for my son more than anything else? I want my son to be able to fall in love. I don't care about him having a big car or a house. I want my son to fall in love. But no one's going to fall in love with the version he is right now other than his father. So I'm working for my son to be able to have love. So it's all the marbles for me. Man, I stopped giving a fuck about what happened to me when I brought my son home. And couldn't go back to the doctor's office and cut his head off. So it's for all the marbles for me. But I would feel great if everyone could do this simple gesture and walk outside.
Yeah, man.
Just walk outside at the same time. Everybody. Takes no energy. No, in fact, own the house for just 1 hour. Everybody just walk outside and see what happens. Right?
100%. I think so.
So, I'm going to have to end this thing. I'm going to got to feed my kids.
Yeah,
This went on way longer than I had expected, but at the same time, this has been amazing. I have truly enjoyed everybody's time. All of the listeners out there, thank you for coming in and listening to this, and we hope that you got something out of this too, because, you know, we don't have all the answers, but you see that we do have some very strong, powerful minds trying to come together, trying to figure out a way out of this, because it's a consensus that this shit that's going on ain't cool. We tired of it, and it's gone on far too long, and they got us all in a place where we feel almost defeated.
Listen,
like
they got us in a place
where Trump is the best option.
When niggas are saying niggas for Trump.
Yeah.
Don't forget, you know, so I'm not going to shit on him, but we're so desperate that and listen, he's trying to pass himself, the Bible speaks, he's trying to pass himself off as the Messiah.
Yeah. And
it tells you about the false prophet. He's literally trying to take his genealogy back to the Egyptian gods now. And his father's middle name is Christ.
Yep, and his mother's name is Mary.
So they're literally trying to pass his family off as the second coming.
He ain't got no red. He don't turn red and have a damn toupee. I'm just not taking that one. We got to stop it, man. We're like, even if Jesus is real, he's not. If that's Jesus, I'm out of here. I'm just like
the Christ. I promise.
Your options for the Christ right now on the current market are Donald Trump or Elon Musk.
You're not liking the Vixen? You're not liking the Vixen guy? What? The Vixen guy? The Indian guy?
I'm finna you know he has connections to the Rockefellers. He got caught working for George Soros 10 years ago. They blasted him already.
He went for who?
Trash.
Yeah, he got caught for having connections to George Soros.
Oh yeah.
So I'm like, no, if them are answers, I'm finna go jump in traffic, man. I'm out of here, man.
No, we got another answer. We got another answer.
We got an answer. Trust me, we got another answer.
Once we have our next conversation, have you had a chance to look at the artwork yet?
I got a chance to see some of the videos, a little bit of the artwork. So that's your artwork, or just like different artwork?
None of it's my shit. I can't paint, but the interpretation. I'm gonna send you some different ones to show you what happens, how it's gonna play out, and so keep your frequency as high as you can.
Is that Michael? Michael, is that you in the audience?
Michael Jackson? No, Michael Jackson.
No, Michael. No, that's this.
Hey, Michael.
Michael is a beautiful, brilliant.
She's amazing.
She's a nurse, and she is the one that showed me the cure for polio.
Wow.
She works in the field and has been working in the field for some 40, 50 years, where she's dealt specifically for it.
Wow.
So this random person gave me what I needed to heal my son.
And you know what's crazy? You know what's crazy? It's almost like
in the medical community. You ask a doctor.
It's almost like we only have two options, and then someone comes along and gives you the third.
That's how it is.
This is the same situation we're in. We're only. It seems like we've got only two options, but there's a third.
We know what the third one is, and we'll talk about that later. Because I don't want to.
Yeah, sure. Part two.
shared a little too much, but you know what? Fuck 'em.
It's all right.
All I do is tell the truth, and what we're doing and what we're proposing is easy. Listen, if y'all can be made to go in the house for a year and a half, we can on our own leave out the house for an hour.
For an hour.
Oh, yeah, okay.
So honestly, let's go to my birthday. What's my birthday? That'll be great.
Okay, when is that?
Hey, no,
November the 11th.
we're gonna have something. We're gonna have something. We're gonna have something, y'all. We're gonna have something real nice.
Hold on 1 second. His birthday is 11/11, and he was born in 1973. Like, that's why we were saying it's a lot with him. It's a whole lot.
No. He's got the 4 pillars. The sword, the 11, it's the 11 is the 2 pillars. So he's got 2 of them, so that's the 4 pillars. Got a solid foundation. See, this is why, Santana, this is why. No wonder. They're energetically, something's going on here. You know what I mean? Yes, I fall back.
No, that's funny because my the teacher that I have that's shown me a lot. He's born on 11/11, and actually the homeboy that I was talking to about this very subject 2 hours before I got on the live with y'all, he was born 11/11. So I don't know what that means.
Wow.
It means
we gotta get them on here.
Listen, we're gonna end it with that just because. Wait until I tell you what it means.
And the energies are,
Yeah, brother. Yeah. So.
Wait a minute. What's your birthday? What's your sign?
Oh, I was born on February 8th, 1990. I'm an Aquarius.
Oh, okay. Yep.
Okay.
Aquarius. Okay. All right.
Sorry about that. Sorry.
When's your birthday? When's your birthday?
Oh, it just passed. I'm August, baby. August 27th.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
All right. Well, happy belated.
So February 8th.
Well,
Huh?
What's that?
No, I didn't hear what you said.
Oh no, I was saying that. February Aquarius is a natural revolutionary, whatever, all of that. So my mom used to actually tell me all that when I was young, and I'd be like, yeah. So it's there, but I'm just like, I'm literally
a month after you. I'm March 8th.
In Sky Bunny, you go to what the place? Sky Bunny, you go and you get some lipospheric vitamin C. And if you would like, my dear beautiful friend Michael, who's on the chat, she's on here as HRH Commander Buttercup. I can link you up with her, and she will walk you through and give you a regimen for your godson. So, I'm going to wait. Sky Bunny, you send me how do they send us an email? Oh, send me an email, Sky Bunny, and I'm going to put you in contact with somebody so we can take care of all of that. I don't mean treatment, I mean 100% recovery. 100% recovery like it never happened. So you send me an email, I'll put you in contact with the person, tell you what you need, and it costs pennies. So, all that, I cannot wait to part 2. My brain's been stimulated, which is, man, it's nothing like stimulation. And you gentlemen have stimulated the hell out of my brain today and given me some things to think about. And y'all even made me give out my secret. But it's out, and let's get together and we'll plan a date. And I'm hoping everyone who in the chat will all get along. That's what we'll do. And ain't no system involved with this. No sponsors, no celebrities want to get involved and do the walk outside challenge. Just us, the people, walk outside.
Oh, her grandson is 11/11.
Yeah, I was saying.
Wow.
Yeah, it was
beautiful. Yeah, but no, but she's saying he's also born on 11/11.
Yeah. They target that date, and I'll tell you why later.
Yeah, our son who they got. It's the same birthday as Gandhi.
It's the certain dates. But we'll get into it. Because I don't want to start it right now because...
Right. Stay polite.
So, hey, listen, I felt like I found some new members to the tribe. I feel fantastic after talking to y'all. And I appreciate y'all for hearing the brother out.
Because ain't nobody else doing shit. So we should do it.
Like I said, man, don't worry about it. Don't worry about Santana. I'm coming. Don't worry about it, buddy. I got something for you, baby. Got something.
I appreciate that. And I just want to give everybody a big can you dig it for those who stopped in.
So we got Shy Bunny, Ahmad the Light, Carol Paulo, Michael, who else we got here?
Jeffrey
Peter's here.
Oh, Peter, hey Peter. Grub you.
AJ Davis.
L. Sheba Segment. PBS
You got a fan club now. Look at y'all. Moving on up.
Most of this plan.
Dark Star. Ezel. Jeffrey Bay. Intercede.
Vivian Williams, I believe.
Real.
Mama Bear.
Equator 7. What's good, man? No. And who is that?
That's it. Oh, Sheba Batista. I'll give a shout out to T. Wriggles. And I think that's it.
And that's a wrap. All right, y'all.
Hey,
thank you.
Take care, gentlemen.
Hey man, peace and love to all of y'all. You know what I'm saying? All right, and remember, keep that thinking cap on.
Can you dig it?
All right, brother. All right.